Well, Tesla's CEO Elon Musk is buying Twitter in a deal worth $44 billion. And that has many wondering what the implications are going to be when it comes to free speech.
So for more on this, we're joined live by Jeffrey Dvorkin, author of Trusting the News in a Digital Age and a lecturer in media ethics at the University of Toronto. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining us. So,
My pleasure.
Thank you. Elon Musk has said that he's buying Twitter because he wants to improve it. He wants a more hands-off approach to content moderation. We all know that social media can be a breeding ground for disinformation. He says he wants more free speech. Can that really exist without disinformation?
Apparently not. I think what we're seeing now is the idea of free speech is fine for those who can afford it, like Elon Musk. And as H.L. Mencken, the great American curmudgeon, once said, you don't have an argument with someone who can buy ink by the barrel. And what Elon Musk has done in a digital age has bought a lot of ink, a lot of pixelated ink in this case. And I think what's going to happen is that even though the concept of free speech is a very good one and one that we can all applaud, but the question of how the internet allows for misinformation to be spread and even worse, disinformation. And I think that what we're seeing now is that Donald Trump was expelled from Twitter some time ago after January 6th. He says he won't come back, even if he's invited. But I guess that he will probably return and to continue to spread the lies about the stolen election. And I mean, it's just as if any ideas are acceptable on Twitter. I don't think that's going to be possible because I think, first of all, in this country, we have laws against hate speech and we have a pretty strong law against slander and libel on public media.
But Jeffrey, Elon Musk says, in his filings that he's going to open up the code to Twitter, and that would somehow sort of help, A, expose bots, and then B, expose some of the fake news that gets generated around there. Is that not opening things up to a more freer level of speech, and then people would be able to perhaps identify sources better than the unidentified, nameless, faceless, people that are on Twitter now, or maybe not even people?
I think that we know that the purpose of journalism is to make choices. It's not a Wild West. It's not a place where anything goes. Every media organization, every journalistic organization makes a decision constantly as to what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. For Elon Musk to say that he's going to open up Twitter so that any ideas, any expression of opinion will be allowed, I think is disingenuous on his part, because we know that when there is freedom of speech that is untrammeled, it kind of pushes things pretty much to one side of the argument as opposed to the other. For example, if I wanted to go on Twitter and say that I think that Vladimir Putin is a great guy and that what he's doing in Ukraine is wonderful, I think that there would be grounds to stop me from saying that. But in the Elon Musk world, anything goes, especially his ideas. I don't think he's willing to tolerate ideas that have gone against his financial and political interests.
So, Jeffrey, it sounds like you're saying that Twitter is going to become a little more biased in favor of its new owner and that information will get filtered through a new lens. Is that what you're suggesting?
I think that's probably the likely outcome. I think we shouldn't be really surprised that wealthy men have wanted to control media outlets for a long time, whether it's Rupert Murdoch or Jeff Bezos or the Thompson family in Ontario or the Irvings in New Brunswick. The appeal of owning a media company, a newspaper, is kind of irresistible, even though they tend to bleed money all the time. But the ego gratification about owning a news organization is very irresistible.
All right, Jeffrey Dworkin, thanks for joining us here on CP24 Live. An interesting conversation. We will see, of course, where Elon Musk does take Twitter. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Pleasure.